It's Wednesday, January the 6th. Lake level's gone crazy since my last fishing report. Over the holidays we had a bunch of rain. It come up to about a foot of the highest it's ever been. It got up to about 933 and a half. It came down to about today it's 928 and a half, which is still 13 feet over normal. Seems to be dropping about 6 inches a day. And actually, for as much rain as what we had, as high as the lake come up, the lake's in pretty good shape as far as floaters and debris. I guess all that high water we had this summer must have flushed a lot of the trees and logs, downstream. But I've been up into James, up around Shell Knob area, Ants Creek, and down around the dam. A lot of that's just I've been looking at from the land. I've been out fishing a couple days. But I had to go help a buddy get a boat out of his boat dock. The water's so high, a lot of people can't even get out to their docks. They can't get them pulled in far enough because of the trees. So, needless to say, it's kind of made fishing really tough. The water temperature, it's still really pretty unseasonably warm. It's still in the low 50s, 51, 52. And I think the upper rivers are probably going to be in the high 40s because of the, water's clearing up. Like Cape Fair, Flat Creek area, that water up there is actually clearer than what it is at Ants Creek and into that area. There's still some clear water down there by the dam. Kimberling City, it seems like it's got some stain out in the main lake, but if you get in the backs of the creeks, most all the backs of the creeks, the water's pretty clear. But, like I say, it's made that fishing pretty tough. There's nothing worse than cold, muddy water. Well, a little bit, I've been out fishing. It seems like them deep fish are still in the centers of them deep pockets, suspended out there over the trees. They just seem to be real hard to catch, and I don't seem to be the only one having a problem catching them. I've talked to several people, that have been out trying to catch the deep fish. The one day I went out, I thought with the current, like I said, it's still dropping the lake about 6 inches a day, and they're running about, 13, 14,000. He just got a jerkbait in his foot. 13, 14,000 cubic feet a second. So there's a lot of current out there, but I could not get the Alabama rig to work. I tried on several what we call current points, areas where the current's coming across. I tried different depths, and the bad deal is I didn't even really see much out there suspended. I did catch a few fish on a grub, and there's some fish being caught on a jerkbait. I think until that water straightens up, that mud line or the stained water is going to get down to the dam, but it shouldn't be as bad time it gets down there. But the upper rivers, like I say, without any large amounts of rain, is going to clear up. So the upper rivers may be the place to go play around, especially with the jerkbait, and with that water clearing up, and that water's getting down into the high 40s. And what I would probably do, depending on the color of the water, is I would probably throw some jerkbaits, more like what we would throw up at Lake of the Ozarks. These are mega bass. It's got a chartreuse back, orange belly on it. I forget the exact names of them, but this one here is kind of a bone with some white on it. They work real good up at Lake of the Ozarks in the stained water. And that's probably what I would use in the off-colored water. Now, with the water up this high, there's a ton of vegetation, bushes, trees, everything in the water. It's kind of hard to throw a crankbait because with the water being up 14 foot high, anything from 14 foot deep up to the bank, there's going to be flooded cover underneath it. So if you're trying to throw a crankbait in that 8 to 12 feet of water, you're going to be getting it hung up quite a bit in the bushes. But if I was to throw a crankbait with this water and stuff cooling down, one that I've had good luck with this time of year, when the water gets real cold, is suspending shad wrap. And I'll actually kind of work it like a jerk. Sometimes I'll work it like a crankbait. It's got a lot tighter wobble than, like, say, a spro or a wigglewort. But you can also work this like a suspending jerkbait. You can reel it down and twitch it, let it set, or you can work it through a lot of that brush real good. And with the bill on the shad wrap, it'll actually come over the top of the brush a little bit better than, like, say, a wigglewort or a spro will. Another bait that you can use to kind of search for the fish, and here again it depends on the watercolor. If you're down by the dam, where the water's still pretty clear, smoking black, 4 or 5 inch, like a Chomper's Grub, a Bass Pro XPS, a Yamamoto will work. Now if the water's got a little bit more color to it, and off color, I'll throw like a salt and pepper or even a pearl. And I'll kind of mix it up between a 4 and a 5 inch grub. Normally I'll put it on a 3/16 or a 1/4 ounce jig head, and I'll just kind of play around with the depth. I'll keep an eye on my electronics, but this is a pretty good bait to throw over the submerged brush. You will get them stuck some, but it's no big deal. You don't have much invested in them if you got to break them off. And you can, if you have to, you can back out into the deeper water and try to catch some suspended fish on it. But it should be a good bait to try on a lot of the long gravel flats. Try to get out there past the old shoreline, because anything from like that 915 level, from there up on the shore is going to have a ton of buckbrush, trees, so it's going to be hard to effectively work the bottom. If you get out past that depth, you can work the grub on the bottom or maybe even a jig. I think if a person's going to throw a jig, you're going to have to throw it dead slow. And if you can find some creeks, I haven't seen any bait activity at all other than the shad that are down there 40 to 60 foot deep. If you can get in a creek where there's some bait flickering, a person might be able to slow roll a spinnerbait, especially if it's got some stain in it. If we get a couple days, where the sunshine, we get a good day of sunshine, you get up in the 45, 50 degree day with that stained water, that'll actually warm up a little bit quicker in some of those pockets and creeks. Now, there was a lot of fish, shallow before the water came up, so I think a lot of them have probably gone way back up in behind the bushes. And right now, there's just so much cover in there, it'll be, hard to dissect, to try to figure out exactly where they're at in that new cover. So what I would, like I say, I would probably try a shad wrap, the jerk bait of the grub, something I can cover quite a little bit of water to see if I can get a few bites. But looks like we got some more rain coming in this weekend. And it may get real interesting this spring, because all our water eventually goes to the Mississippi, and right now Memphis and all that area is flooding. So whenever Bull Shoals gets full, we get we get some more rain. There's not going to be any place for this water to go. So I'm thinking we're going to have high water, throughout the spring. So this is something that we're not used to. We've never seen the water this high this time of year, and this much stain in it. It looks like it's all going to be a learning curve for most of us, figuring out how to adapt to catching. But till next week, good luck, good fishing if you get a chance to get out there.